my preference with my book covers would always be to go bespoke, to have a designer working on them, working with me closely to get exactly what I want. And I'll be honest with you, I've always had the best experiences when I've paid the money for a bespoke designer. But I write a lot of books, I have a lot of covers, and actually I can't afford to pay £400 a time for every single cover. Much as I'd like to, I can't afford to do it. So what I do is I get the best covers that I can afford on my books, and hopefully if and when I'm in a position later on in my author career to change those covers and get better covers, I will. But if I had the money to be able to put bespoke covers on every single one of my books, I absolutely would. I wouldn't hesitate to do that. And I would suggest that regardless of your budget, that's your aspiration. But unfortunately, reality isn't always the same as that. We can't always afford to do that. And I certainly can't afford £300-400 a time to put covers on my books, even though I know that I need to have the best quality covers that I possibly can on my books. But sometimes, you've got to make the money go round. And I pay a lot for the editing and the covers. I get the best I can, so that I'm very happy with them. But I'm always mindful of budget, as I'm sure you are too. So bespoke covers. Let me talk you through my experiences here. When I did The Secret Bunker, which was my first trilogy of fiction books, those are bespoke covers. And I paid, I think it was just short of £400 per cover there. Now, I got those covers in Kindle format, very, very high quality Kindle format. And I got them for CreateSpace use. So I got the very, very high quality, the spine was sized correctly, those versions for CreateSpace. And I had unlimited revisions on these. So I could keep going back saying, don't like it, move that to the left, don't like the colour, mess around with this. Unlimited revisions on each of those covers. Now, why was this worth every penny that I paid for it? It was worth every penny that I paid for it because when I started to put the covers onto CreateSpace and started to get the sample copies back from CreateSpace, the alignment wasn't right on the cover. And we've gone through, you have to provide your cover designer with the number of pages so they can work out the width of it. And they have all sorts of things called bleeds on covers and things like that. And Peter, who did these covers, because he knew exactly what he was doing, and there was frankly no cover related technical issue that he couldn't cope with, we solved it, and he sort of solved it expertly and very quickly for me. Now, if I was doing that myself, that would have been an absolute pain. So I do not regret spending any of the money on those covers, and people tell me that they really like those covers. Now, sci-fi might not be your thing, but people tell me that they really like the covers, and you've quite clearly got a great designer working on those. The next time I got covers done, I wanted a different style. I love Peter's covers, but I just wanted a different style. And on Facebook, I had seen a guy called Christian. He markets under the name Covers by Christian. And Christian specialises in sci-fi and dystopian covers. So I'd been watching him on Facebook thinking, oh yeah, this is just what I want for my covers. Those kind of destroyed world field covers with dark tech and things like that. And so I contacted Christian, and those covers, I paid for them in dollars, but I think roughly they were about £280. So £120 less than the other covers that I got. Now, again, very happy with the covers. With the layouts, Christian gave me 3D versions. I got all sorts of extras with that. He did the versions for CreateSpace, and I think I got audibles for that. So I got a lot for my money. But in terms of the package that Christian offers, all that messing around with spines and things, that isn't part of the offer. So again, you always get what you pay for, and that's fine. I was very happy with what I got here. I was very happy with the covers. But with Peter, when I paid £400 per cover, I got as much messing around and fooling around trying to sort the technical stuff out as I wanted. So these covers are great. Very, very happy with them. Again, I would use Peter and Christian again. They were both great to work with, and I would recommend them if you're looking for covers like this. But it's always this cost issue that you've got with bespoke covers. Let me just show you their sites and talk you through some of the other parts of the process with this. This is Peter's website, and as we scroll through this, you'll see that he's done all sorts of fiction and non-fiction covers. And the thing that amazes me about Peter, who's at bespokebookcovers.com, I have never seen, I don't think, on one site in any niche at all, as much feedback or positive feedback as Peter has. If you go through his site It's absolutely phenomenal, the amount of feedback that you'll see on that site from authors. And you'll actually hear me on this site with my testimonial. I don't leave testimonials that often, but I was extremely happy with the job that I got done. So the thing with Peter is, he's a designer. He's been doing this a long time. He just knows exactly what he's doing in the business. He's based in the UK, if that's important with you, if the language issues are important with you, and so, sometimes they are very important if your book is very technical, or if you know very specifically what you want and you need to articulate that. The language issue may be very important to you. But Peter, I think very unusually, offers unlimited revisions. And why I say unusually is that, we've all had difficult customers. If you've worked in any kind of selling before, you'll know what difficult customers can be like. And they're not very good fun to work with, unfortunately. So I remember interviewing Peter on the podcast saying, I think it's very brave offering that sort of guarantee to people. And he says, no, I want people to be happy, and that's why I get such great feedback. And you'll see here, look, unlimited changes until you're 100% satisfied. And I'll refund your money if you're not. So that's the kind of proposition and offer you get when you're paying £400 a time. And it's a very good offer too. But that might not be in your price range. But I would certainly recommend, and obviously there are many other designers like Peter, this is just my personal experience, I would certainly recommend that you use a designer that you get personal recommendations for. Here's Christian's site, and you can see why I went for this for my dystopian. He's very much into the space fantasy dystopian, if that's your sort of genre. And these were popping up on my Facebook feed constantly, and I just thought, yes, this is exactly what I'm after for the next series of books that I'm working on. And actually, if we scroll down far enough here, you'll probably actually see my cover on here somewhere eventually. But I was exposed to all of these on Facebook. And sometimes you see an author and you think, that's exactly what I'm looking for. But you could get a feel for Christian's artwork there. Now, would I go to Christian for a non-fiction cover? No, of course I wouldn't, because that's not his area of expertise. His area of expertise is sci-fi, dystopian and fantasy. And if you want that, he's exactly the guy for you. So again, you need to look at the strengths, the artistic strengths of your cover designer. Now, Peter, I think, does a really good job of all sorts. If you look at his website here, he's done all sorts of things. He can turn his hand to anything and do an extremely good job of it. With Christian, he's definitely targeting particular genres, and he's extremely good at those, and obviously reads those genres and enjoys them a lot. So you've got all these choices to make, and of course the most important choice is, can I afford it? Now, there's a difference between can I afford it and is it worth it? Is it worth it? Absolutely, it's worth it. Can you afford it? Well, only you know that. But from my experience, and you'll know through watching these videos, that I have gone right through, I've tried absolutely everything. I've gone through Kindle Cover Creator for free, right through to £400 per cover. I would always, if I could afford it, go for £400 per cover, because there's absolutely no doubt about the value for money that you get when you pay an expert like Peter and people like Christian as well, who really know what they're doing. But unfortunately, we have a lot to pay for when we're independent authors, and editing is where I put the main amount of money. And covers, I'm constantly trying different things to just watch that price. But if money were no object, I absolutely every time would go for an expensive cover designer, because they're absolutely worth it in terms of the experience that they bring and the technical assistance that they give you. Other than that, I'm afraid it's entirely up to you and your personal circumstances with your budget. But bespoke book covers and experienced cover designers, that would be my choice every time. Unfortunately, it's not always the best financial option for me.